I don't have to worry about
They send it.
Reese, you drop.
Oh, speed sharp, sure.
Sorry, my email's like slow.
Okay, the code is capital H, lowercase f, lowercase uppercase K, uppercase P, uppercase D, uppercase Y. Did you guys get it?
Yeah.
why.
Yeah. Did you all get it?
Yeah, I'm good.
The advantage of resilience, economic crisis, and naval complex systems guarantees it's impossible to predict and prevent the next crisis. Developing resilience prevents them from attacking jurisdictions. Like 22. Economy will confront a crisis, disaster, crisis, COVID years on 08, 9, 11, initial boom, Cold War, petrodollar crisis, having the historical norm economic system, altered the understanding competition, was red, mistrust, institutions struggling to adjust policy, should continue to adjust system, should accept the reality of perpetual dynamism is concerned just by fiscal policy, government, fragmenting, aim of resilience system, preventing inputs, multi need government that makes extinction inevitable, absent of resilience, stability depends on a robust middle class mapa. 21. Planet and megasystem risk cascade, winter, transfer risk, global crash, unprecedented scale, highly probable mid-20s stability of a society morphed into anarchy, geopolitical realignment, national COVID really accelerated nuclear accidents, climate change, waste, epic crime, environmentally devastating that touches coal, wood, stoves, interlinked ecosystem, water, critical infrastructure, World War II, reappear, US, China, military, Taiwan, SES, nuclear confrontation, NATO, Russia, and the cost of living outruns wage growth, which first relates to between basic needs, welcome to the cyclical poverty, Williams, 23. Cost of living continues to rise, inflation, stagnation, 3 decades, experience rise 80% slash share, dedicated needs increase 10%, depending on education saving, wage growth 2% per year, middle income earnings aren't enough to disproportionate vulnerable population, financial challenge, implications, dynamism, rent, and wage stagnation is reverting to pre-pandemic levels, stimulus growth was unsustainable, Christian 24. Mass layoffs continuing, 48% of companies slow pay overdue reset for pandemic, tightening market less leverage, negotiate pay reset, ongoing growth, dwarf UK, Europe over near pre-pandemic levels, rise between inflation and wages, stagnating wages, hollow out economic resilience, shocks are inevitable, only worker stability enables recovery, bond 21. Increasing inequality, polarization, playing market results in inefficient allocation of resources, holding back economy, healthcare, making ensure recovery will be a shared, resilient economy critical to rebuild to be stronger share of income as a positive impact on GDP, shock, rebuild inequality led to fragile economy, amplifying recessions, workers of the economy, and income disparity cause diversionary wars that use prove law 22. Empirical led class inequality increase war not military action turn attention away from grievances to national conflict democracy or common challenges diversity forces that rally around leadership empirical results support and hypotheses as inequality rise likelihood of initiating increases 114%. Certainty about future work is a vital component of job security that enables long-term planning necessary and enables escape poverty. Super 21. Precarious employment by planning job insecurity, no in living wage, earning living wage enable secure job certainty about future long-term planning. We are concerned about continuing to have negative impacts, important, especially in crisis. And income inequality has created an atomized, distrustful society which generates civic engagement and democracy. Studies prove love and Waldman. 18. Inequality deprived of autonomy, lower wages, threatened rest, experience alienation, deficit system, not very social capital. Blue, that hold society together, increase violence connected, income inequality, increase downward social pressures, way they maintain social status, more belligerent internationally, democracy, require active participation, need to be civically engaged, poor people participate less optimistic about fate, wage policy give voice, higher income to more engaged, during less than minimum, less likely successful democracy requires middle class raise opposed to wage policy beginning, possibly leads to greater democratization, inequality, fuel distrust, causes elite capture, and destroys institutional capacity to respond to every accidental threat. Mid 24. Depend on institutions, high inequality, worsen institutional quality, lead to elite capture, growing consensus in institutions, due towards elites less positive, long-term interests will be misaligned, oil, gas, weapons, high inequality is to reduce trust, it's important for public goods, reduce capacities to respond to experts, low inequality is better outcomes for environmental risk, and show resilience to shock, nuclear war, virus, AI, polarization, increased conflict, populist candidates selected, less cooperative, nationalistic, and distrust under civil war, inevitable, scholarly consensus, top 21. Civil war, potential hundreds of conflict, recent events, random risk of wider violence, obvious prior conflict, national identity, divided, exploited, Russian displacing U.S. for civil war, U.S. displays all elements on the brain, Fox News, only at the beginning, guarantees nuclear war in every hotspot, French 20. Moment U.S. flip guarantees me nothing deterrents hotspots, alliance dependent on U.S., China, reclaim Taiwan, Russia, Baltic, Ukraine, NATO, whether Germany, rearm Europe, destabilization, Japan, recent nukes, SOCO, follow, NBT meeting with China, existential, the red firebrands to Taiwan, testing hydrogen bomb, arrangement, and nuke, representative polarizing trends continue, thus the planet acts to require the workers to save a living wage. Something. Increase in wages is inevitable, a phase in now, solves for massive shocks, plan makes corporations pay their fair share, which solves poverty, cost of living, and avoids economic damage through facing shock 21. $15 per hour inadequate living wage 20 or more, adjusted inflation draws on specific data related to cost minimum wage keeping up only 10% low wage, 66% employed by large corporations paying minimum wage companies subsidies for minimum wage increase non-existent impact sudden changes more noticeable, gradual increase avoid ripple effects increasing, would reduce food insecurity, hunger, positive health impacts reduce, less on public programs cannot pick up self-reliance without saving small, job loss and balance by holding multiple jobs wage, 10% increase will send 0.36% increase in productivity, leave as low as workers support security large increase will not be required in the future of the plan, instant reverse inequality by instantly lifting 1 million out of poverty, protecting essential workers and increasing revenue and spending while producing no job loss benefits 21. Significant increase in minimum wage benefits 27 million kept economy going, redistribute income, bargaining power, large effects on revenue, reduce spending up for public assistance, lift nearly 1 million out of poverty, employment effects such as zero reversing generation, rise in income inequality, increasing revenues, boosting pay for power workers, translate to higher Medicaid payments, its reverse cause and living wages key to the mere perception of the plan, vitalizes trust in the federal government, ensures civic engagement 2021. Trust in the historic local conspiracy misinformation, insurrectionists during the capital with accusations of voter fraud, 72% of the populace continue to question the election government, instead to believe their voice will be heard, the solution to reviving public trust and ambitious policies that impact America's policy wrinkles, trust is a living wage that keeps up with inflation, psychological impact of wage gain, and wage synergy take effect of people living own worth, as well as carrying federal government inside the household, based stagnant wages while the 1% skyrocket, living anyone out undermines local economies because costs go up and wages don't, switch to 21. Higher disposable income, high spending, every dollar adds to the economy, raising minimum wage and all enforcement stimulus, paying all workers fair wage, but money backs up minimum wage, supporting suffers recession, devastated by stagnation, until phased implementation and integration of data, ILO 24. A living wage should follow robust data consultation with workers and employers, organizations, and operationalization includes incremental progression from minimum to living and reflect local or regional differences. Framing. Addressing the legacies of slavery and industrial socialism as possible requires policy intervention to a living wage, genuine kinship, and ethical relations or material realities of existence through shared struggles and can be expanded through positive rights attuned to the reality of widespread restoration. Manchego 24. In the face of increasing desperation, Congress actions have been pivotal, prevailing attitude towards poverty rooted in historical patterns, ending slavery, perpetuates scarcity, modern day exploitation, school to present private, highlighting need to dismantle legacies of slavery, defending the dead, insisting on black being, confronting material conditional legal analysis at the beginning, nor end exploited labor of black flesh, racial capitals, and technology and social debts apart, quality of life persists with gentrification, urban renewal, sovereignty, undermined by economic control, post-liberal concept of liberty, not only against coercion but duty, protect personhood, prioritize affordable housing, health, educational wage, unemployment, relentless to recognize rights for price, full citizenship, perpetuate cycles of poverty, never see the importance of policy intervention, heavily affected by wages, reproductive health, individuals remain in abusive relationship with laborers, are paid reliant on welfare, reduced because people can afford premium care, slavery, genocide, metamorphosis, and wage discrimination, lies of path, towards radical concept that extends community a form of abolition, refusal of oppression, perpetuation of minimum living standards, and repairing opportunity costs of best for clash and argument refinement, which is the prerequisite for Econ and Fair 18. Framework must include comparison and evaluation of ARC, celebration, contribute to critique by ensuring ARC, or considering criticize argumentation over policy does not include other analysis such as reps, substitutes, and framework, effectively evaluate scores within a procedure for impartiality, filter out conclusions does not pass, question proposals tested in light of consequences, framework can accommodate ethical issues within consequential perspective.
Good.
Yeah.
Alright. Shack evidence increase in wages is inevitable. Why?
Well, our argument is just that government always increases wages over time. Like,
Where does it say that the government will increase the wage to $30 an hour, which is what your plan defends?
the plan does not defend $30 an
Okay,
hour.
what does it defend?
It says 20 or more. That's normal
Okay,
means.
sure. Where does it, like, okay, most states already have a 20 or more living wage.
Wait, I just don't think that's true.
Okay, so most states don't. Then the Shack evidence, where does it say it's going to be inevitable?
We just say that, like, based on historical trend, the government has always increased wages.
Why?
What do you mean? Why
did they do that?
The government increased wages because the government. I don't know exactly why specific politicians increased wages.
You don't know
It was
why.
something that
Okay.
was in their. Probably
What's a phase-in?
a phase-in. The plan is we immediately implement a living wage policy, but we move towards the 20 or more over time. It's not an immediate increase. It's not an immediate jump to $20 per hour.
But like you would announce that it's going to go.
Yeah, at some point. Yeah, we would announce it at some point.
You'd announce it. Okay. I guess economic crises are inevitable. Complex systems guarantee it's impossible. The card is about 9/11, COVID, Eurozone, geopolitical crises. How does a living wage solve any of these things?
The living wage does not solve these things. The argument
Okay,
is that
so
but
economic crises are inevitable, period. Your plan goes away.
the argument is not that we solve economic crises, but rather that once the economic crisis happens, resilience is crucial for us to be able to
Okay,
weather
so
the
is
effects.
resilience just like low inequality good?
Reducing
Like,
inequality.
what is resilience?
Resilience is when people in the middle class have the money to be able to weather the economy.
Okay, how do people like in the middle class, like if a middle class person has a lot of money, how does that stop Putin from invading Ukraine? Like what?
Well, I think our diversionary war scenario actually explained this really well. The reason why diversionary
Okay, so
war
it's about diversionary war, not this?
Wait, I'm confused. All of these impacts are because of an inevitable economic crisis.
Okay, so if I say diversionary war doesn't happen, all your impacts.
No, there are other impacts.
So what are the other impacts?
You pointed out Putin. Another potential scenario could be another stuff that's also I don't have the mob
So
evidence.
what's the other impact?
Yes, 1 second.
Yeah,
U.S.-China military conflict over Taiwan, or the SES, NATO and Russia conflict.
What are the internals to SCS conflict, Taiwan? Where are you getting that?
Countries when they feel like they're economically challenged from a crisis. And
Diversionary war, anything else?
other things like it's economically, environmentally devastating because we do not.
Environmentally devastating? Where'd you get that?
The card says environmentally devastating
So
substances.
the card has 2 words about it. What's the reason?
Because we currently rely on things like coal, wood, stoves.
So how does the living wage stop?
The living wage,
all
because in the
this?
status quo, we're moving away from them, but an economic crisis would make it impossible because economic crises, where we're not resilient against it, makes it possible because we're not like
What is
able to
elite
move.
capture?
Elite capture. It's when people who are in the government when people in the government no longer are representative of the people, there's no like engagement with
Why
them.
do they want to like cause extinction? Like why?
It
why do they
doesn't.
want
It's
to
not that they
kill
want to cause extinction, but rather that
they
they
accidentally cause extinction.
but rather the things they do increase the chance of extinction.
Why?
They're less likely to believe in things like climate change. They're more likely to be like
Why
populist.
is it that if you're more rich, you're less likely to believe in that?
It's not that if you're more rich, it's the people who are corrupted in charge of the government, who are old, and who like are more likely to prioritize their own value over that of the society because they're elite.
6. Right there.
Okay. So, okay, I got it.
They're good.
Yeah.
Oh, you good?
Yeah.
First off, it's the interpretation violation. The affirmative must specify the exact mechanism of calculations for the living wage. They do not necessarily vague. Romeo 24, defining the living wage is always challenged with a question of how much of that would cost companies want to claim more credit without having consumers think too closely of using the concept to justify an action. What is the living wage? All important questions. Grounds to vagueness allows to easy clarification of such leading premises. What the plan includes the applicant's infinite prep to write the most strategic plan. Unpredictable shiftiness opens the floodgates to skew our strategy drive the debater. The skew construction of the 1 and C, which affected the entirety of the debate. Next off, the counterplan. The United States should propose a binding international agreement with the WTO that would require AF workers to receive a living wage and international law complying with the agreement. Praise the WTO. That's also the case. Marshall 19. One area of law WTO disputes in which nation accused another of failing to meet commitments and out of touch of living wages concrete targets set through agreements. Countries increase in a coordinated fashion here claims against states accused of failing to meet wages incentive to police labor laws. Wages are internationally recognized. Countries would comply GLWC 24 to recent agreements of Lynbrook for living wage bringing governance. A coalition recommends recognition of action towards living wage for all workers as a leader and influence of the movement. GLWC's work upheld these principles allows for cross-country comparison. Innovation solves every impact. Armstrong 23. Collective international action to prevent multilateral system could avoid zero-sum game, deepening economic integration, retreat of U.S. leadership, threatening regional order, uncertainty from Ukraine, new technologies, climate pandemic, multilateral system with WTO at its core for political security, protecting against economic shocks, diffuse trade risk. Next off, the EITC counterplan. The United States should significantly expand the earned income tax credit to AF workers, including individuals without dependents, provide outreach, education incentives used to those employees for using assisted preparation method to assist with filing tax returns, have the IRS deliver automatic refunds to eligible EITC filers without requiring them to first claim the payment. That solves food costs are in accordance with 21. Are there efficient alternatives to wage increases? There is very little disagreement. The EITC is superior. CWO reports that it shows raising wage would result in 70 billion net whilst to reduce business costs and higher costs of goods. Most workers who gain are not in poor families. The EITC raises only earnings of workers in low income families. Dependent children pay for the federal income tax rather than employer increases the first participation of family members. APM solve complexity. Golden 18 APMs eliminate most barriers. Tax code is complex. Taxpayers learn the benefit exists, navigate, test apply rules, and calculate credit or must stay commercial software professional exists in APMs. Quantity information required to identify never needs to see that a credit exists average or never to engage with that complexity. Automatic refunds solve awareness and complexity. MAG 20 U.S. senators propose having the IRS deliver automatic refunds to eligible EITC filers without requiring them to first claim the payment to workers without qualifying. Children tax returns are less complicated. Next off, the economy stat is looking great right now. Reuters today spending increased solidly. Power signal working was imminent. Now spending growth says to a recession to retain momentum more because living wages trigger unemployment. Law 14 negative effects are what document important study by UC leading expert and comprehensive review at looking at 100 studies covering 20 countries. Conclusion wage hike have negative impacts upon employment. Employers decrease jobs, cut back on hours, less training for body evidence shows wage increases to little help households. Other industries have to raise prices to keep up or skip that card. The permanent wage increases quickly undermine productivity. Peterson 22 high skilled workers decline by over 9%. Drop in productivity greatest in the short term. Suggesting wages can't stabilize setting growth. Certain studies do observe increases. Unfortunately, focus on particular group policy predicated on fear spells on how the outcomes economists model discover reduces employment over a longer period of time. Employers substitute away from tourist capital, reducing unemployment for the least. While what might happen to a bank who must file for more essential employments when the receptions becomes too accepted or would have to assume greater service shows how the poorest depriving high skilled workers for the low skilled workers. Small businesses have no good option. Dunkelberg 21 small businesses see a significant increase in entry level position costs. Recent survey vast majority of 74% report they would be negatively impacted. Laying off one employee would save, but job is lost and employees' income is down. Zero cheaper ingredients lower quality and risk off no inevitable if it were a reason the price discourage consumers competition with large business that can survive. Owner could suspend future wages, creating wage compression that avoids morale, lower income, reducing incentive to own businesses on minimum wage documented by those who can afford it. Despite being at the heart of the economy, small businesses have a thin profit margin. The plan would trigger layoffs or closure of Randolph's 21 small business. Part of the economy, major engine of job growth, employ 47% of the workforce. Changes in wage laws can have devastating impacts. Many naive to assume even persons relying on low-cost labor would be able to pay operate on thin profit margins, substitute technology for labor. Large corporations support minimum wage because they drive out competition, forcing wages after pandemic weaken job growth. I think I didn't say the doc, but there's 2 more cards. Small businesses are hotbeds for innovation. Hasn't it all? 24 businesses vital for innovation, providing entrepreneurs with opportunities to experiment new roles, play a pivotal role in manufacturing binding, where they account for 80% of companies' black-owned employment. Significance extends beyond numbers, driving new ideas. Losing the innovation warfare to China causes World War III. Sadowski and all 20 innovations key drive to national security relations, safety, geopolitical power. China's long-term innovations include unseating the U.S. government studies documented systemic effort from China to teach technology, assessing private sector technology to acquisitions that ownership states less fair and likely to respect the decline impact. They already read it. Now, states counterplan. The 50 states should require that workers receive a living wage. It solves better goal. And Martini's Hickey 24 to 9 states raise wages, increase boosted and wage growth 50% faster than states raise wages in response to federal actions. Higher than federal minimum states index wage inflation. States can do more. States have a unique opportunity. Next off, the United States should ban Trump from the election through Section 14A of the 14th Amendment. The United States should legally bar Kamala Harris from winning the election. Harris is up right now. Lewis 24. Kamala enjoyed polling wins, making gains in key battleground states in this lead with Donald Trump in 7 key swing states. Another sign of momentum beyond Harris is launching her campaign. Harris holds a lead in 6 battleground states: Georgia, Michigan, Nevada, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin. Tied with Trump and Arizona, closing up in Arizona, Georgia, Nevada, and North Carolina. Biggest jumps were in Georgia and Nevada among national voters. Harris has expanded her lead in polls released this week. Harris's rebrand would mean she was framed as a communist by Trump. Levitt's 819 Trump believes Harris' ideological extremism by abandoning a progressive commitments, embracing considered trips to sausage refiners so that Democratic swing voters can trust EITC. Relied on that rebranding. Swing voters don't believe that Harrison Walls are the second marks first in Australia in the polls leads Trump through the contested battleground states. Touting for security, top to sub-prosecutor. If they're one thing that can sour Trump vibes, it's the similar campaign that targets a radical future hinge on how Harris parries that. Cut the card at that. Trump 2.0 extinction fever 24. New Trump admin far less likely to restrain impulses far from clear. There will be guardrails. Changes the geopolitical environment amid major hot wars in Europe, the Middle East, Taiwan, Iran. Trump would root out leaders, trade and trade, conduct legal strikes, collapse of order, China, Russia, pursue quick action for John Khabib case. Schenck does not say wage crises are inevitable. He just recommends that economic crises are not inevitable. First, they cannot solve even if true geopolitical crises happen. A living wage will not implicate them. Second, Solik says it's a possibility, not a probability. It's so low. Growth rates are trendless. We're starting 23 secular stagnations of fleeting growth has been trendless ever since theoretical drawbacks are reducted to explain every thought. The economic cycles authors associate decrease in productivity with faltering innovation, decline in population. Growth shit is backwards. Increase. Insert the pink card. Mavic is about economic stressors, which we straight term, but that says inequality is global, so the plan is insufficient to solve. Insert pink. He has only talked about contemporary geopolitical risks, but never said these risks are caused or magnified by inequality. Insert pink. Inequality does not degrade institutions. Edwards 19. Popularity is that inequality undermines democracy. Former economists of the world being claimed the rich to hold more power, but for such fears by no political views of the wealthy and homogenous, and they track views within the population, but he's not by election wealthy candidates who poorly Pew research found individuals with incomes above or equal likely to identify as Republican or Democrat. Little cross started many issues for the wealthy have different preferences. So up here they get the way in policy. Inequality is decreasing. Heather Ross 24. American policy poverty is way lower. Group of economists write in a new study. Our absolute measure uses a fuller income measure. A recent study found inequality has changed little over time across all houses after accounting for taxes, transfers, Gini coefficient fell. The impulse to push doom and gloom is alluring. Exploding debt has all causes. China trade deficit. Insert pink. No civil war. Hanania 20. Despite appeal, we betrays much understanding of political violence thanks to large scale studies with cutting edge stats. Grievances exist everywhere. With distinguished countries' lack of state capacity, civil wars happen in the state. Is weak lower levels of wealth to war because countries like law enforcement grievance measures had no discernible effect. Wealth and military power explain why the U.S. civil war is unlikely to make a metaphor. Military is clearly capable of wiping out any challenges. They don't have any impacts besides diversionary war. Obviously, climate, etc. is all made up. Prospects was damning. The economy is doing great. Mucha County 830 prices rising. Moderately curbing inflation breakup with imminent consumer spending gain across both goods and services continues to generate each wage growth. Underpin spending on labor mostly driven by spent town hiring rather than less. Productivity is high and GDP growth is bouncing back. Capital economics 23 comprehensive analysis of emerging economic goods. Well, GDP growth will bounce back to pre-pandemic levels. Monetary tightening should be sufficient to ensure that when inflation comes back, rates are likely to be low. Long-term projection define what economy will be twice as big. Twice as big.
Okay, first on case, what did you skip?
I think I didn't skip anything. I just stopped at the capital economics.
Okay, so you just that sounds good. First, multi-lat counterplan. Why is this different from
The app says we should just pass the policy in the U.S. The multi-lat counterplan says we should condition that policy on whether countries around the world or some countries in the WTO agree that the app is good.
Wait, so it's an international law. Does it only apply in the U.S. or is it global?
Other countries would do too.
Okay.
But like we don't fiat that they do, but like they.
But like the World Trade Organization would be the one required.
Not necessarily. It's just like countries in the WTO would all like propose an agreement.
No, but I mean
the
the
WTO
agreement
would be
would
like
be done
outside
through the WTO. It wouldn't be
Not necessarily. Like they could do it outside, but like countries in the WTO would be like, yeah, we should like have an architecture in which we all implement a living wage.
Okay, so The EITC counterplan, what do you significantly expand about the earned income tax credit?
So a few things. Right now, it's like it only applies to people like with dependents. We'd be like people without dependents also get it. Also, like there's like a phase in and phase out period for the tax credit in which you can get it. Our argument is like if we expanded that to include more people, where it actually targets the poverty level. Then
Expanding it to people without dependents is sufficient.
I explained another thing that was bigger.
What was it?
It was that like the phase in phase out period would change. So like right now it's like you have to be in a certain income level in order to get the tax credit to get like refunds on like what you pay. Our argument is like if we expanded that to include more people, then it could target poverty better because more people would be accessible. The other problem with the ITC right now is like nobody knows about it. Most people in poor jobs do not use TurboTax. They don't file their own taxes like the way that the government So like the counterplan would ensure that everyone makes sure that they know about the EITC, are able to access the benefit, and more people are eligible.
That makes sense. The Econ DA, why did, wait, first can you send the card? Or did you already?
Yeah.
You can send it after, but like, just
Okay,
send it.
I'll work on it right now, but you can keep asking.
The elections DA, what would the basis be for barring Kamala Harris from winning the election?
In case you straight turn.
No, but I mean, like, why would they, like, why would they bar it? Like, what would the basis be under?
I don't know, they'd like make a law or something.
So they'd just be like, okay, Kamala, I know you're winning the election, but you're just like, man.
Yeah, I mean, like maybe she did something wrong, or like people can make something up.
Okay. So they like make something.
Yeah.
Okay, and is it like the same for Trump? They just like say you're.
There's like a section, like I mean, Trump's like a convicted felon, so that could be a way to do it.
Okay.
Also, there's like a section on the 14th Amendment that's like he's not able to run because he like incited violence.
States counterplan. What does it mean to uniformly require it?
All states do it together.
But like, do they do it the same way?
I mean, they could have like it's just like you know how like the plan has like localities like implement different levels of the living wage. States could do that too. It's just like they do it together like in a coordinated fashion.
Okay, that makes sense. That's cross-ex. Just 5 minutes, 4 minutes. 5 minutes. Okay, that's good. Wait, the impact to multilateral is ILR, right?
Multilaterals, like international cooperation on various risks.
Okay. 202. Yeah.
Good for order.
Yeah, I'm just. Okay. The order, I'm wrong in the doc, but the order is the case, which is on the. The case, the spec shell, the elections DA, multilat, states, EITC.
Okay, wait, 1 second. I'm gonna download the doc. Can you repeat it again?
It says, okay, wait, where is spec, election, multilat, states, EITC, Econ.
Wait, is it order doc?
Yeah.
Okay, 1 second. EITC and then Econ last.
Yeah.
Order cases like top down.
Yeah.
Alright, I'm good.
Okay.
They say our business is inevitable, so like says, then there will inevitably be an event, something like a terror attack, pandemic, which is unpredictable, eventually complex crisis, even if there's some probabilities and sufficient. They say growth is increasing now, but even when any unpredictable event can end, the same way COVID, randomly ended growth, they say the scenarios are global. We only highlighted US scenarios, stuff like US-China, Russia, US-China war, and then NATO, which US is part of. They say Mavak is not about inequality, but the argument is that we solve for the impacts because we are resilient to the impacts of inequality. They say that they see no impact, but they see no impact, but they can see the diversion. They can see the really good evidence of diversion in war has increased by 114% because people are more desperate. They say inequality is decreasing, and evidence goes till 2019 does not include for the fact that COVID massively increased inequality, which is our whole structural crisis argument. I don't know why they answered it. We didn't read it. They say no collapse, but it says it happens when states are weak, which are evidence that is happening right now in the United States. They say no. They say Econ is good, but it's not response for the fact that Econ will unpredictably fail. Spec. Interpretation by wait. First, for counter-interpretation, we specified that it would be for workers, no presumption. The plaintiff's shorthand on the bill. This round reads the specified net bill. Counter-interpretation, we don't specify beyond the rest. Counter-interpretation, we have to specify. If we're asking cross-checks, you can ask with checks. We want inferred because in terms of arbitrary, not better than the rest. So they can always ask more, which has substance to read normal means in the one T makes it T to base 6 with the 3. Let's pick out things like gross income, net income, and social security that are under the plan, which boosts the app for reasonability topic and standard. Because the abuse of theory must outweigh the abuse of voting on theory to preserve substance. Now, the elections DA first on the counter plans. This deficit. Both of them are used tampering, which kills trust. People who think the election was stolen will cause civil war, Knowles and Corfield, 121-24. Trump has 91 criminal charges across 4 indictments, more than many Republicans to say effectively end the GOP nominating conduct. As for civil war, he's just echoing what he hears from many people. Trump rallies. 2020 election was stolen. Believe that civil war is coming. Same group supported violence to affect change. 6 was the beginning of something rather than the end. Republican Congress passed the plan. Biden ties off. No way conflict gets blamed. Return. Everyone only thinks we're in a session. Even with wage lines go up, real purchasing power is what he solved through high wages, which Urban's perceptions shown in 528. Inflation and poor sentiment affecting perception of the economy. Even the stock market have said negative. In reality was up to believe the U.S. is in a recession. Cut the card in recession. Bipartisan and popular empirics polling issue 24. Strong campaigns to raise wages since COVID minimum wage hike. Asian popular. They voted in large numbers. Popular across 2 parties. Florida 71% of establishing minimum majority voted for Bush. Robust models predict Trump wins. Stands at 829. Trump is favored to be Kamala. There's one reason for Trump being the favorite. Pennsylvania has been quite a while since Harrison, Pennsylvania, which has been the state of the model. Has the EC popular vote gap opening up concern for Harris. The plan proposed Kamala Lemon 813. Polling showed majority in 6 battleground states back raising minimum wage, working people feel Dem party abandoned them, cut the card and abandoned them. Now the multi-lat counter plan. Fed key is trust is fallen. Central government's policies come from the state. They won't. If policies don't come from the Fed, it won't be the perception of carrying federal government. That's the Troy evidence. The scheme every impact. And Schroeder and Collier describe natural entries. 1 perm to vote, 2 perm to the counter plan, 2 perm to the counter plan, 3 perm to the counter plan. Then the plan sequential Fed actions of sever immediacy. 4 to begin to force you 11. Enforcement at the multilateral level. For revision of enforcement at multilateral level. It's made sure we can because negotiation focus on negotiation standard setting have to address much more tasks of implementation and enforcement. Cut the card and enforcement on the state's counterplan doesn't matter because we're straight trained the elections DA, which means that there's no net benefit to it. Now the EITC counterplan, perm duo shields the links, and workers get more money by EITC reduces the threshold for living wage, killing deficit. Only the office failed to specific areas with higher cost of living keeps up the inflation. Vacant substance substantially expand means nothing. It'll be watered down, really caps at 1 rent exponentially. This does not inherit the EITC will only expand in 2022 to include people without dependent, no responsible solvency for the counterplan existence as scope. RS 44. Low to moderate income workers eligible claim EITC are under 63,393 are eligible to claim EITC without child abuse. 25 under 65 one spouse must meet the counterplan fails at verse 22. Cut the EITC discussions of individuals and workers from increasing earnings. The EITC is high profit for spending imposes costs on taxpayers. The EITC pushes market down wages, cut the card and wages. Now the Econ DA conceded recession level and non-use the DA growth the plan has millions. ICCR 23 benefits for reverting inequality slows growth, reducing demand, gender and racial gaps created 2.6 trillion and loss eliminating racial discrimination, 5 trillion raising wages, create improved health through turnover that exists now, and turnover in jobs that exist now through wages are wide per 22. 2021 the point which is 2020 your high peer research certifies low peer reasons why, and savings means workers put their second, third job will become more effective than first job, while bargaining power just companies exceed mass layoffs. 2 offset the kind use of census studies use state of art modeling technology of 30 years and 550 years use minimum wage equals higher cost increased turnover.
Reason to drop the team. What did you read on states?
I said I straight trained.
That's it.
Okay.
Did you read ET on Econ Dis Ed? No, right?
No.
I'll send these cards.
What's the?
I'll give it to you in a second.
Okay.
What happened here? No contour. Alright, the order is that good?
Yeah.
Business dissent, the EITC counterplan, the elections dissent, the multi-lat counterplan, case.
Sessions, EITC after that.
Yeah, Econ, EITC, elections, multi-lat counterplan, states counterplan, case.
Okay, go.
They're good? Are you good?
The plan causes economic distress. Small businesses in every industry are forced to compete. They're compelled to raise costs for the poor, close down, lay off workers, ruining the innovation hubs of the country. They dropped in impact. The innovation impact was new, but yes, it was still red. It was slips us behind China, causing them to have technological dominance, which causes extinction of small business. But the hotbed of innovation are the key part of the United States, which is bad. It also causes a recession that culminates in diversionary war, which accesses all of those impacts better much sooner. The link alone turns the case. They've dropped the higher costs, and unemployment are the worst scenarios for low-income families. The dissent outweighs first scope. The advantage is limited to U.S. institutions and equality civil unrest. Nobody cares about that. Economic decline is far more visible because it affects everybody in the world and affects economies. Everybody looks at the United States and looks at the economy, not its inequality scenarios. Tech competition between the U.S. and China is also huge because they have the two largest nuclear arsenals in the world. Second, time frame perception is enough. Small businesses will immediately know they cannot afford the wage shift policies, decrease confidence in the economy. They've dropped the Duckelberg and Randolph evidence says, quote, 74% have negative expectations, which means it's a perception link. The plan takes years because economic mobility is a long-term process requiring building wealth over decades, and all of their links are about inequality, which means if it's so long for the link to happen, then the link turn definitely comes first. Third, time frame if the link turns so long, then the link comes first. Third, time frame controls the direction of turns case. The link alone means people won't be lifted from the poor. That was above. The link properly first. The ISSR evidence first. The link is far faster than the link turn first. Mass closure. Small businesses, they have no legroom. Having to pay more for labor and benefits means they sacrifice product quality. Cannot compete with big companies. That causes them to go out of business, which devastates the heart of the economy. That's Duckelberg and Randolph. Second, unemployment firms. They cut hours. They decrease job openings. They shift to automation to replace low-skilled workers. Supported by a comprehensive review of over 100 studies across 20 countries. That's Lamam. Third, productivity. Workers fear being fired. They hate knowing their raises would be suspended to save costs. Employers would replace low-skilled labor with higher-skilled workers who are generally unmotivated to do that same blue-collar work, which means they wouldn't do as well. That's the Pearson evidence proper. Now, ICCR does not say anything. They don't solve inequality quickly under the plan, and if we win that the inequality advantage is fake anyways, then this is obviously way too long of a link chain. Also, the EITC counterplan solves the Parker evidence. The card is one line. It's not even grammatical. It literally says nothing, but we've answered productivity above. The link is faster, and it does not assume the fear of being fired, strip benefits, high-skilled workers filling in. Obviously, all of those reasons are reasons why people wouldn't be productive in the first place. They also haven't warranted this claim, which means you should not let them have it. They say savings. This was not even read. I don't think this was read, but productivity was wrong. I answered that already. They say offsets. The counterplan solves this because it also provides workers with enough money, which means they would obviously want to be more productive in the first place. Lamam 20 has studies over 100 countries, which means the evidence is just as good, and if it's a wash at best, you vote on the fact that we have explained our warrants more. Living wage versus minimum wage. All their evidence is not in the context of a living wage, only that they would raise the minimum wage to $20 or $15 an hour, which most states have already done, but not to 30, which is what the living wage would want. Now, EITC.
Or wait, I'll answer turnover.
Turnover is wrong. API 01. Turnover argument misses an important dimension of how low-skill labor markets operate. Employers first fewer job vacancies because there's less need to replace workers. This drop hurts most severely low-skilled firms have incentive to substitute like capital high-skilled workers with low-skilled workers because the cost of labor has been forced up. It also takes way too long. How do employers know or expect turnover? Our link is perception. Theirs is not. Okay, kind of. The EITC solves the link terms but avoids the link instead of requiring employers to pay a living wage out of their pockets. It operates through lowering the tax burdens of the poor that raises the earnings of low-wage employees since they don't have to pay as many taxes, which allows them to stimulate the economy, be productive, etc., which is all of their links. It also probably lowers turnover too because if the employers are happy, that's what their link is about. It avoids the net benefits. Small businesses can't be harmed because they would not have to adapt to higher labor costs, fire workers, close down the account plan. It's entirely within the tax code, which is isolated from them. You should use sufficiency framing. They have not isolated the threshold for why the wage is key, which means as long as it's up there, it is fine. Permutation through both links and net benefit. The counterplan does not subtract from employers' wallets like the wage. It redistributes in the tax code, which is obviously separate. Their explanation makes no sense. It still links because it takes it out of the pockets of businesses. They say tailoring deficit. The EITC obviously tailors too. It is county specific, and Krauss' explanation was extremely clear to why it depends on the region you're in. Vagueness, I said what it is in Krauss. The plan is obviously more vague. That's why I read a spec shell against you. There's no way you are punishing me for vagueness when my plan was literally longer than yours. The IRS, the card literally says nothing here. It's on. The card literally says nothing here. It's not the status quo of Dolby. 22 young workers under 25 would actually were not qualified. You receive EITC ARPA, temporarily expanded income streams for it helps them save money, maintain assets, pay bills, cover expenses, extensions of temporary Congress that take action, make them permanent, and workers are contract economies yet. Young, consistently bear people's under employment, unfairness of taxes, it appears an extra IRS audits individually we receive. The EITC foes refunds often taking months, requires time and mental bathroom beds. Solution would be to overhaul the system to make it equitable. Credits should be fully refundable. EITC based on outdated assumptions that college students do not earn low incomes are being adequately supported by the parents fails to reflect reality of top students why students are leaving or college or because of financial topics expanding EITC eligible students could help reduce poverty and food insecurity. The IRS card just describes what the EITC is. That's not a warrant nor an argument. The Edwards card was marked too early. It was marked after one line. Literally has nothing. At best, it says, quote, fraud would happen. That it's good and it solves inequality more because if people steal money, then it obviously redistributes in the system better. Haha. Now, the multi-leg counterplan can see permutation not going for the states counterplan can see permutation not going for elections. Instead, we'll answer the straight term here. We're not going for the two counterplans, but our uniqueness evidence is far better, which means they cannot possibly go for this argument. Our uniqueness evidence is across all states. They can't read new cards in the 2 hour because I have no time to compare, but their card just cites Pennsylvania. It is one guy talking. It says, quote, oh, Harris probably wins now because one swing state change. Our evidence is consistent across all indicators, says Harris probably wins in most of these 8 states, which means it's far more broad. Uniqueness controls the link. If it's true that we win uniqueness and Harris is going to win, the plan is entirely irrelevant. The EITC also probably solves election. All other links are not about a living wage, only a minimum wage, so as long as people get more money, they would be happy, which means that election would be solved. Also, the dissent definitely outweighs some time frame. The election is in 2 months, and then there's no impact for when Trump ever does that thing that is completely arbitrary. We have not explained it. They have not explained it. Only we have done time frame weighing, and this is a new argument for them. Case.
Wait, let me find it.
Economic decline is definitely not inevitable. They've dropped it. They cannot solve for any of those scenarios, which means at best it is just an all cause. But the plan is definitely something that would cause an immediate recession based on every link that they've conceded. They do not solve inequality globally. They've dropped it. Rehighlighting the whatever Mavic evidence that says that inequality is a global phenomenon that the U.S. definitely does not spill over. They have no explanation of it, which means that it's bad. There's also no elite capture impact. They dropped the Edwards evidence. The warrant in it says that Republicans, Democrats, they're equally split. None of the rich agree on everything, and they would not want to unilaterally end the world. And there's no civil war because Hanani is. Okay.
The order is case, EITC, Econ.
Case EITC Econ.
Yeah. Actually, let me get my
Good.
William loses the debate because he's conceded a civil war scenario and went for non-inherent counterplay to the two now framing issue is that the civil war scenario was not extended with a war. Defense civil war not extended with a war. Drop the Troy evidence. It's a question of perception, which means that even if they are winning, defense against inequality does not matter because the civil war goes nuclear, captures fast French, means it blows up every hotspot because every other country would lose assurance perception, which would also turn the economy because even if it is slightly slower, the economy recessions are inevitable. But we know in a world where the United States does not exist, the economy is completely messed up because it's crucial to the world economy, which is going to be the evidence I'm going to extend later. Now, the only thing that he stated on case was the only thing that he said was case that we dropped it was only within the U.S. Now you drop the answer to this, which is even if it's only within the U.S., is that all of our scenarios are about the U.S., which means that even if we don't solve for other global scenarios, we solve for our scenarios, which is sufficient to win the debate. Again, even if it's on global equality, there are other scenarios, neither side solves for them, but we can solve for our scenarios within the U.S. Case is very, very big, which means that even if you think the dissent is higher, the counterplane is good, you cannot win the debate. Now the EITC counterplane proper. I'm going for two things. First, non-inherent. This is just a question of evidence. You should read it after the round. This is just a question of evidence. You should read it after the round. The two things that he said. One is that Williams' explanation was that the counterplane is vague, which means that substantially increase, if it has substantial increases already happen, which means the counterplane is on inherent. Second is that this counterplane is not descriptive. It's not just descriptive. It says that you are able to claim the eligible without a child, which you claim eligible without a child, and it explains what the EITC is and who it is expanded to, which is the expansion that they would propose during, which is the expansion that their counterplane proposes, which means that the counterplane is literally not inherent, means it can't solve for any part of the, which means it cannot solve for any part of the app. Second thing I'm going for is that it's vague. It's a lead capture argument. Our argument is not that the app is not vague. The app is vague, but the living wage is still indexed to a specific number, which is sufficient to solve. Second, it's a question of trust because the living wage is just a good term. But the fact that the counterplane is vague means it cannot. The fact that the counterplane is vague means it cannot. So it cannot solve any of the app because then it gets watered down. It means it gets watered down by the elite capture of the system. The to an extent the elite capture is inevitable, which means that the counterplane cannot solve. Which means the counterplane cannot solve it. Which means the counterplane will completely be watered down. It cannot solve perception because the argument on perception is a question of solving inequality, which means that they cannot solve for any part of the lead, which means they cannot solve for any part of the civil war scenario, which is the one thing we said it during the 2R. Now the 2R, now last I'm going for now the last recession is the Econ D8. The last is the Econ D8. If recession is inevitable, it does not matter. If recession is inevitable, it does not matter. They've exceeded the thesis that it's inevitable, which means that even if the DA turns inequality in the short term, it cannot turn recession in the short term because even if people are losing money, our Troy evidence are isolated. Specifically, the living wage is key. That's the one thing. The living wage is key to perception of the people believing trusting the government, which is just basically a dropped argument coming out of the 2R, which means that there's very little risk. Second is the Parker evidence. It says the people are not productive. Now this is the uniqueness question that frames the rest of the inflation. That frames the rest of it. Even if the economy, even if it would hurt the economy to lay people off, people are all already not in jobs right now, which means that which frames the uniqueness question of the debate, which frames the uniqueness of the debate, uniqueness of election late, which was an argument made, which was an argument on elections which were conceded, which means that this is not unique.
Okay, good debate.
Oh, I have time. I have like time to choose.
You want me to stop the recording?
Yeah, stop the recording.